I probably won't be able to attack his king here, simply because he's castled kingside, and my pieces are all pointed towards the queen side, pretty much. By which I mean my dark square bishop. Because I don't know if you ever seen any like real Sicilian dragon games. Almost the entire attack is based off the dark squared bishop. So I mean, a lot of times the dark squared bishop gets traded off, but almost, I want to say like 9 out of 10 games, the dark squared bishop plays a huge role in the attack. And that's why they want to trade it off so early. So here I'm letting him trade off my dark squared bishop, mostly because I'm up a piece. Now that my bishop was able to recoup to g7, I'm going to try to trade off my... Well, I don't want to trade my knight yet, because I'll have to take back with the pawn to prevent me losing my rook. So, instead I'm just going to keep developing. Knight c6. I don't think this guy's a bad player. I think he just made a slight error leaving his knight undefended. He might be trying a new system against the dragon, but it's hard to say. Again, I'm just going to slide my rook over to c8. If he trades my dark square bishops, that's fine. I want my knight to come to f6. And I want to try to keep my pawn structure as intact as possible. Because, like, if I move my e-pawn, my d-pawn will be weak and very easily lost. So the only way I'll be able to get rid of his knight on d5 is to somehow offer him a trade that won't ruin my pawn structure. Like knight f6. Okay, so f4, he's definitely, because he's down the piece, he needs to try to attack me as much as possible. Here, let's see. Not quite sure. I'm pretty sure he wants to play f5 to try to attack. That seems like a fairly strong attack against my king. Something fishy about the move f4. Well, let's see. Well, let's see if I can find... I'm just kind of getting a feeling there's like a tactic here or something. So let's see. When you're looking for tactics, try to look for undefended pieces and forcing moves. So undefended pieces would be the pawn on b2. Forcing moves are queen b6 check, bishop d4 check. Oh, wait a second. When he played f4, he disrupted the communication between his queen and his bishop. So his bishop on h6 is actually undefended. So I could just take that. Interesting. I knew there was something weird about his move f4. Okay. So now I'm up 2 pieces. I guess I didn't really need to go through all the forcing moves and hanging pieces, because, well, it wasn't really a tactic, it was just a hanging piece. So, oh, he's upset. Okay, so it looks like he's still going to play. He definitely has some menacing pawns there. I think every possible trade here would be good for me. So any trade that I can get going would be perfect. However, I still don't want to ruin my pawn structure, so if I can avoid it, that would be good. So I'm thinking bishop g7 followed by knight f6, but bishop g7 he can play pawn to g5, which would stop my knight from coming to f6. Let's see. There isn't really any other way that I can offer a trade. But it's good to get out of the tempo gaining moves like g5. So I think I have enough pieces around my king that it'll be safe, even if it gets completely open. And if I absolutely have to, sorry, I'm yawning a little bit. If I absolutely have to, I can play e6 to kick his knight away. And then maybe I can slide my queen into h4 if that's still possible. That might be my next move, actually. If he doesn't play g5, I'm going to play e6 and then queen h4. It does mess up my pawn structure a little bit, because my pawn structure right now is absolutely perfect. And by playing e6, my d6 pawn won't have any support anymore. So e6, his knight goes to c3 or e3, and then queen h4 will help. It'll make his attack pretty much a non-threat. So e6. Let's see, what can he do? He doesn't want to lose another piece, because 3 pieces is a huge deficit. 2 pieces is already a huge deficit, but 3 would be even worse. You can see I'm not trying to use any of my checks like queen d4, well, queen b6 yet, because they don't do anything. A check is just a check, but if you can check and it forces him to do something he doesn't want to do, like, for example, block with the rook, then you're going to be sitting even better than you were before. So his pawns are a little bit overextended around his king, so I'm going to try to slide in and take advantage of that. Also, I can gain a tempo with a move like knight d4 because it threatens knight to f3 check, which would be a royal fork. I mean, that definitely doesn't want to allow that to happen. And ever so slowly, my pieces will be able to creep into his position, basically around his little wall of pawns. Almost like, I think it was World War One. The French built like this huge, a huge defense, and the Germans just like went around it. It's pretty funny. So yeah, queen h4 right away, but I could also play knight d4. But the sooner I get my rooks connected, the better. So I think queen h4. It's kind of a debate between the two, queen h4 and knight d4. But I mean, he can't trade queens because I'm up 2 pieces. So a move like queen f2 wouldn't be good. Okay, so he's going after my d6 pawn now. But I'm going to gain a tempo here with knight d4. Threatening knight f3 check, as I've said. I can't remember what it was some line the French made that the Germans just went around. I can't remember. It's kind of like what this is called. Kind of like what this is, but now I'm just going to take on h3. If he plays rook takes knight, that's okay. The more trades, even if it's a slightly inferior trade for me, is good. I mean, I'm up 2 pieces, so. Rook takes d4, probably throw in queen takes g4 check. King f1 or king h1, probably just bishop takes d4. Although I could, let's see, queen h3 check, king e2,